Well, hello there, folks, and welcome to the Persian Gulf edition of Dave Diggs History. I'm Dave. I had planned to do an episode tonight that would hopefully wrap up the backstory to all this. The past several episodes have dealt with who, what, when, where, and why. I left the how part out because there's so much going on with the how to give you a proper explanation, proper understanding. I would devote that to an entire episode. Well, you may remember from a previous episode the statement that I made that goes like this: when history collides with current events essentially take precedence. We'll get to the how of all this. I think it's very interesting. Someday. Today's not that day. Tomorrow's not looking good either. But what we are going to do today is explore something that may or may not be happening by way of a parallel to what's going over there in the Persian Gulf in 2026 and what did go on in the preparations for the D-Day landings in June of 1944. Is there a parallel? Maybe. I'll leave that up to you to decide. The timeline starts like this. On May the 6th, 1944, Supreme Command Allied Forces Europe decided that the D-Day landings would take place on June the 5th. Not 6th, 5th. But it all depends on the weather. The weather is always going to be a factor with this. On the 30th of May, troops who had been in an assembly area, encampments surrounded by barbed wire so no information leaks out to tip off the Nazis, they start boarding the troop ships. And they'll continue boarding for several days. And then they sit there, waiting for the go sign, the go order. What are you going to be doing on board these ships besides playing twiddle thumb? You could be playing cards, games of chance, for money, of course, or packs of smokes. But in doing so, the longer that they're there, the more things are going to degrade, like possibly their combat efficiency, their morale, which was of a concern to the Allied Supreme Command. They had discussed this at meetings. Tempers were being flared. Fuses on these people, some of them were getting kind of short, and there were fist fights, seasicknesses, boredom. These troops are ready to go. They want to go in and mix it up with the enemy and get the job done and go home. Eventually it did happen. Well, is there a possible parallel between that and what's going on over there? Let's go down that rabbit hole. They are currently stationed over in the Persian Gulf area, somewhere there, two MEUs, two Marine Expeditionary Units. There's the 11th, based out of San Diego. There's the 31st, based out of Okinawa. The 11th is on board the ship Boxer, and the 31st is on the USS Tripoli. Both are amphibious assault ships. Their job is to help the Marines make an amphibious assault. That's why they're there, in case they're needed to do that. There's also an element of the 82nd Airborne in case there needs to be a paratroop drop somewhere or other. Now, more about the MEUs, Marine Expeditionary Units. They're fully self-contained. They have their own artillery. They have some light armor. They have a construction unit with them. And of course the infantry unit, the assault unit. They have assault vehicles that can take off from these ships and carry the troops onto land. They're fully equipped to do whatever needs to be done. But are they suffering from the same things that their grandfathers, great-grandfathers suffered on the lead up to D-Day? Are they suffering from boredom? Are they coming down with seasickness? Are they getting into fist fights? Is their combat efficiency being degraded along with their morale the longer that they're there. And please keep in mind, the troops that were in the not landing barges, but the troop ships before going into the barges, spent several days, 10 days perhaps tops, depending, sitting on the ships, trying to prevent going out of their skull with boredom. These troops, these Marines that were on board the Muse, in order to get to where they were, to where they are, that took weeks in a ship. Just adding to the aggravation, perhaps. This is all speculation on my part. I have no clue. Being an armchair general, well, that's way above my pay grade. We'll have to let this play out and just see what the future holds at some future date. And speaking of dates, as I was preparing the script for this episode, I looked at the calendar. Today, the shooting is May the 6th, 2026. What happens in a month? That'll be the anniversary of the D-Day landings in Normandy on June the 6th, 1944. Is it, I know I'm going out on a limb on this, is it possible, the reason I say that is every time it seems, oh, they'll never do that, that's not possible, that can't happen, it happens. Is it perhaps possible that there is an amphibious landing of the Muse plus an airborne assault by the 82nd scheduled to take place on June the 6th, 2026? I'm only raising that as a topic for discussion. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen, but I've been wrong before. If you have any comments on that, any thoughts on that, you know where to leave them down below. And in the meantime, until such time as events will let me carry on with the backstory here, someday, smoke them if you got them. Keep those home fires burning. Keep the letters coming to our troops no matter where they are. It's a big morale boost. And if you have any gripes, if you have any complaints, if you want to grex about stuff, go tell it to the chaplain. Until then, Diggs out.